Hello, survivors. It's Fantastic Mr. Ghost, and we're going to talk about perception today. Not Bob. Bob's cat. We're going to talk about perception. Been wanting to do one of these videos for a while, kind of shooting the breeze about some of the perks that are in the game and some, issues that I have with the perk system in here a little bit. I don't want to go too crazy because I could talk for hours about that. So I got this little base here set up. As you can see, I was testing it out. What I'm trying to do here is create a character that is only perception, for example. And it's impossible in 7 Days to Die. That's one of my biggest complaints if you go into the skills here. The problem I have with the 7 Days to Die perk system is it's only a perk system. And the Fallout 4 does this as well, where you level up, you pick a perk. If you want to go further with a particular skill tree, then you have to level up the top level attributes, so to speak. So in Fallout 4, it's special, strength and all this, and sneak and all that. SP is perception, E is endurance, things like that. So they spread it out over SPECIAL, 7 points or 7 things. Whereas in 7 Days to Die, they only have 5. So my biggest complaint here is, one, they need to expand this and pull some of the things out of these areas that do not make sense. And also they're spreading things out too much. Animal Tracker is under perception, but under fortitude, we have the Huntsman. Why? Why are you separating two things out that are common? Like, if you're killing animals, then you're going to be, gutting them, getting their body parts, things like that, right? Well, why not have a Huntsman track up here? So what they need to do is get rid of this attribute here. Shouldn't be the gate to all of these skills below to max them out or, get better at them. I'm okay with the fortitude and, perception being up, being a part of this. It's that they're gating the wrong thing. They shouldn't be gating this. Maybe gate by level like Fallout 4, but really what they need is a skill system and a perk system like Fallout New Vegas, and I think Fallout 3 started it. New Vegas kind of carried it over, and then they did traits. In the beginning of the game, you could pick 2 traits. You don't have to. You could pick 1, 2, or none. They don't need to do traits in 7 Days to Die, but if they're going to be trying to do an RPG setup here, they really need to refine it and detail it more so that you can actually build a character around a discipline like perception, but they need to take the general purpose perks out so that affect all players. All players need to eat, they need to barter, they need to do certain things, farming, and also they seems like they forget that there are single players and there's multiplayers. So by separating out making skills and perks, they're allowing single player and multiplayer to, it's like seamless. It doesn't matter if what you're playing, because it's about the character, not about the team. You know what I mean? So that's my biggest complaint about 7 Days to Die, is that they make it so difficult to perk into something, a high cost. It's 16 points here maxed out, and that's just way too much investment into some perk system that you don't necessarily care about. For example, if I'm building a perception character, why in the hell do I care about intellect and what damage it does with the stun baton? I have to sink 16 points in here to max out intelligence so that I can pick better barter and get all the max ranks on this. That's silly to me. It doesn't make any sense. Again, why am I dumping points into something that I don't care? I'm not going to use this weapon, yet I have to spend points on it. So and I know they introduced this a while back, but they keep adding things, but they don't think about, oh, how's this going to work overall? I don't think they think long term when they add things. So let's talk about the perception. I had to get that out of the way because as I've been playing this game, I'm like, man, this perk system is trash. So let's talk about perception. All right, here's the weapons that I have all straightened out here. So you start off in perception with rifles, and then you also have the spear. Now, I really like perception, but there is an issue with the rifles, which I do not like. I think they need to do something here. And that is the pipe rifle, one shot. Great. I'm okay with that. It's a crappy weapon, but it gets the job done. So when you're out hunting, you see a zombie out, roaming around, you want to pop him in the head, it's fine in the beginning. The problem with the rifle, the pipe rifle, is that it's one shot, the reloading sucks until you perk higher. Now, the issue I have here is the hunting rifle also being a one shot, somewhat slow. So the only real benefit between the pipe rifle and going to the hunting rifle here is that it's more powerful. And the durability is 200 for a level 1 on up to 400. So you get you get a damage modifier and also a durability modifier. But one shot, why don't you give me 3 at least? Because the next one is the lever action, and that gives you 5 rounds. And of course we got the granddaddy here, the sniper rifle. Now the sniper rifle default holds 12 rounds. And I'm okay with the sniper rifle. 12 rounds is fine. So I have 2 down here. I'm going to showcase 2 things you can do with the sniper rifle. It's a rifle. And also, don't be confused here with, let me stay in here. There is the assault or the tactical assault rifle. That is under machine gunner. And I don't know why they call it a rifle, because it could confuse people who aren't really into guns. It confused me because I don't study guns or anything like that. I'm not out at the shooting range or anything like that. But if you call something a rifle and you have a perk that's governed by rifles, then maybe change the name, because tactical assault rifle should fall under this discipline, the perception. But it's under machine gunner, so just be aware of that. Now the next weapon that you have under the perception tree is the spear. And let me tell you, don't discount the spear. In fact, if you perk in another, say, discipline, it's really good to have a spear with you, because you can jab zombies through the holes in the doors. So let's say they smack a door, you can stand back and just poke them in the head or in the body with the spear. And you have enough distance where they can't really get you. They could try to swing, but the spear allows you to be a little further back from those zombies. Now we'll get into the mods on this, but there are books down here. Let's go into those. So since we did the sniper already, these are found in the mailboxes. You can buy them from traders here, or in loot or whatever. So we have the sniper volume 1. And they kind of follow the same, path all the weapons do. We have a 10% more damage when using a scope. They're kind of honed to the weapon a little bit more though, but in general, it's more damage, reload speed, things like that. Now we get into leg shots cripple, which I guess if you're in the field is fine, but on a horde night, yeah, crippling can get you in trouble, especially if you have a base like what I have here where I'm up in the air. The zombies will start hitting on the base of where your structure is. So I don't really like cripple for Horde Night, but there's nothing you could do. You need to grab the book to complete the set. Then we have headshots have a chance to stun. And that's, of course, if you don't kill them. Now we have reload 10% faster. Zooming 15% less stamina. So that's specific to, the rifle here. And using the scope. Or aiming down iron sights. Then we have learn to craft armor piercing 762. Really good stuff on very difficult horde nights. And then learn to craft the high power 762. Now when you complete the set, you can bulk craft 762 ammo. And that's all of it. I think it covers all of the ammo, which is right here. So we have the range. This is 762 ammo, 47 damage, block 8. I don't know. I guess the block is for like PvE. Or PvP, and then ranged on the high power is damage range is 52, so we got a +5 on that one, and then the AP is even higher for 57. Now this is what makes the AP ammo fun, is you have a target armor reduction of -50%. So there you go, and then we have target penetration. Now the The downfall to AP ammo is that your weapons degrade a little faster, but you're going to have repair kits. Don't worry about it, man. So it's fun to use the AP ammo for the target armor reduction and the penetration, which is nice. Okay, so let's look at the spears here. Now, the reason I say do not discount the spear, even if you're not perking into it, maybe do like one level of it, Spearmaster level 1. And now, if you're doing a perception build, obviously you're going to be just dumping points into this. But you have 10% more damage with this book. Then you have degradation slower. Now we have a 25% cause bleed chance. Now there's a mod we'll look at. It's a serrated blade mod for another 10. Now, let's say you're at a POI. There's a hole in the door. You're thrusting your spear through the hole in the door and smacking the zombies. There's like 3 of them. You invoke bleed, and also the spear has an ignore target armor attribute as well. So you're jamming those zombies, invoking bleed. Let's say they shuffle around and one of them is out of reach or whatever. So that zombie might be bleeding while you're smacking other zombies. So you're getting damage over time on multiple zombies potentially. So I think the max is 35% total because it's 25 here and 10 for the mod. And now we have 50% more damage from power attacks on downed opponents, which is really nice. So if you're going 1-to-1, you know, mano a mano with the zombie, you smack them, the higher your damage, the chance, and then there's also other perks where you have knockdown and ragdoll. So you jam that zombie, it falls on the ground, power attack it, 50% more damage. Now we have increased attack speed, which is nice to have that on top of the perks that we have. And here we have power attacks, penetrate and damage multiple enemies, which is really fun. Like I said, if you're at that door and you're jamming the spear through the hole in the door, let's say there's another zombie behind that one. Boom, you get 2. Oh, and then this one here, really cool. They have this stackable thing where it's 10, then 20, then 30% more damage after each successful hit. So that's really cool in there. When you complete the Spear Hunter set, you know, get the 7 books, this is really good here for a final perk. It's a bonus 8th perk. Kills with spears refill your stamina. So you want to talk about really powerful. Boy, the spear really amps it up with this particular, you know, bonus perk. So again, you're shoving that spear into the zombies through that door hole or whatever. Maybe you're at your Horde base, you're popping them, and now when you get that kill, boom, instantaneous stamina regen. Talk about fun. Now let's talk about the throwables now. I have a little complaint. I don't know if this is intentional by the Fun Pimps. Sometimes you don't know if they just don't know how to design a game or what. But the grenades are super late. You know, like you can buy them from the traders and you can perk into the explosives perks, but good luck trying to make them early on. And I'll show you why in a second here. So we have this contact grenade. If you find these in the traders, buy them for your Horde Night, especially if you're perking into primarily perception, because obviously, yeah, you have to perk into other perks in order to survive the wasteland here, you know, and all the zombies coming at you. I'll demonstrate the contact grenade. Basically, it blows up as soon as it makes contact with an object, and that could be anything in the game, including you. And then we've got this grenade, which is, it has a fuse time of 3 seconds there. So you pull the pin, you throw it, it sits on the ground for that time, and then it blows up. So there's a delay there. Then you got the pipe bomb here, which is, it's fused. So you look at the fuse for the timer, and then you throw it, so you can time it a little better. Now, the reason I'm including Molotov cocktails here is because, well, we're already doing throwables. Now, the Molotov is not governed by perception, but it is, from what I understand, the only 2 things here in the game is the Fireman's Almanac. Molotovs burn 10% longer, and also, if you get burned, and that would be by a Molotov as well as anything else in the game, it reduces the reduces chance to be lit on fire by 25%. Now with a Molotov, I don't think that's the case. I don't know, because if you're running through POIs and there's those burnt piles of logs, or if you're in the burnt forest, I think that's what it's referring to. So if anybody knows specifically about that, how it affects the Molotov, I don't think it does. And also, if anybody knows other buffs for the Molotov, these are the only two that I know of right now. So leave that in the comment section below. I'd really like to know your thoughts on the Molotovs. All right, let's go to the grenades here. Now, this is what makes grenades a pain in the ass. Mechanical parts, iron and springs, as well as gunpowder. Gunpowder needs coal and nitrate powder. So you can see that there's a big ramp up here. You're not going to be able to do this on day 1 through 7. You're not going to be mining nitrate powder and coal on day 1 to 7. You're running around trying to get your stuff ready for the first horde 7 days, you know, if you're playing on normal settings, that is. And mechanical parts, if you're lucky to find them between day 1 and 7, which you should, if you find an engine, you're looking better. You can scrap that for parts. But you're not going to be using this for grenades. You're going to be using it to make your workbench, maybe a wrench or whatever. And then you got to build a forge and cook iron. And springs are coming from loot. You can buy them from traders, yeah. But are you going to have money in the beginning? Not really, a lot. So really it's coming from loot and cars. If you don't have a wrench, you're not going to be making these, you know, grenades. And the contact grenade is 2 mechanical parts, and the regular grenade here is 1 mechanical part. So the resources are quite, you know, they're not, you could probably get these by day 14, but you're spending a lot of time just to make grenades. And the pipe bombs are gunpowder, quite a bit too, 12. And pipes, which you're not going to have a lot of pipe in the beginning. So the explosives are usually, well, yeah, I'll hold off on that till I can get my character and my base running, you know, start getting a rhythm going, right? So it's nice to have the explosives, but they're not really attainable unless, and I'm speaking in terms of single player. For multiplayer, yeah, you have a group of guys, gals, whatever. Someone's mining the stuff. Someone's out there wrenching, you know, maybe someone finds a wrench, they're wrenching cars, bringing all the resources back to base. Then you got maybe a quartermaster who's, you know, crafting and cooking and all that stuff. So it is doable for multiplayer, but, you know, when you're playing single player, it's pretty tough. You really got to speed run quick. And also you got RNG going, I'm not giving you a wrench till frickin' day 14. So you have to wait until you craft one. All right, now let's go into the armors. Now I wanted to mention armors here because for the perception build, there's a bunch of armors that you can use to make it a little better for Horde Nights. Now, when I'm running around in POIs, I like to do the Assassin and Sneak, and that's for perception. Now, if you go into a strength build, obviously you're going to be going heavy armor, sledgehammer, whatever, right? But this, I'm speaking in terms of, you know, you're kind of ranged, you're trying to go quiet. You know, perception is more in the field sneaky, right? Because I usually use the perception with the agility, you know, tree. So I rock the assassin build here. Now this one here, attack speed, this is affected by agility. Don't think attack speed is going to help you for everything. It's only specifically agility items. And we got the sprint noise here. So for Horde Nights, I like the commando one, specifically the commando gloves. So eventually you get to the sniper rifle and you're maxing it out or whatever. And this is what I like to use for those instances. However, the biker gloves, if you don't have very powerful weapons in the beginning, which you don't, I'm going to be using the spear for a Horde Night. So the base that I've built here, just to kind of demonstrate a few things, it's more of a melee base where I'm smacking the zombies with the spear. So the biker gloves are helpful. And then you have reduced melee stamina. So the biker one is good for the first couple days, first couple hordes. But then eventually you start building your skills up and your rifle becomes better. So you're going to be going rifle on Horde Nights because they're going to get tougher and all that. So you got stun resist here. You've got health bonus. You've got the weapon damage increase. And then you've got the melee stamina reduction. Now, these are just random things I grabbed. So if you get level 1, it's going to be less, obviously, and level 6 is going to be way better. If you want to mix and match your armor sets, because with the biker here, for example, let's say I go with the gloves, and I'm like, well, what's the, set bonus? Okay, let's see. Armor rating is increased, which is really nice, but mini bikes and motorcycles use less fuel. Well, I don't need that for a Horde Knight. So, for example, this one here, the medium, and this is medium armor too. You got to be careful because some of these are light and medium and all that, and heavy. So this one here is reduced melee stamina. Oh, look at this. We got a noise increase. Oh, yeah. So let's go on to the helmet. Or let's see. Let's say I don't care about the max health bonus. Let's say I want the natural crit healing for the Horde or whatever. So you really got to just look at what is the full set bonus going to get me? Do I want a full set bonus for Horde Knight? Because I look at, there's 2 phases in the game. There's, going through POIs and just general, running around. Then there's Horde Knight. They're hunting you. So you don't need to worry about set bonuses maybe as much. So here's some other armor sets to consider. The Preacher Gloves, increased damage dealt to the undead. And then we have this one here. Let's click on this one. This is a rifle damage for Farmer Gloves, which is very interesting. Again, I don't know. Some of these things don't make sense. You're farming. So why rifle? Rifle is hunting, not farming. So I don't know. Go figure. Now we got the Ranger Gloves here. 10% revolver and lever action. So there is something you can consider. If you're on the lever action, the Ranger Gloves are something you might want to swap in. The Commando Gloves cover all ranged, but this one here is lever and revolver. So something to consider. Now we got Raider Gloves, which is another melee weapon damage. This is a level 3. This is a level 2. So it seems like they're repeating it's kind of redundant, but whatever. Now some other things to consider because you're in perception. And let's say you're not getting into Lucky Looter, or let's say you're not doing the Better Barter under the intelligence tree, and you're not doing any, well, actually, yeah, you got the Lucky Looter under perception. So you can do the Rogue Hood and increase your chances when you're going through POIs. Now you got to remember to put the hood on. That's the biggest problem. So I'll get into this in a second, but I have a a like-dislike with the armor sets, and I'll cover that in a second. So now when you're selling stuff, because you're a perception character, your chances are you're maybe going to have 1 rank of Better Barter. You want to have this bartering, which is buying items 2%, and that goes up as the quality goes up, of course. Then there's the Enforcer glasses. As you can see, these are 6% for bartering, and that covers buying and selling. As you can see, there's no, in parentheses, buying. So if you find enforcers or you can make them, do it. Now you got the Ranger. So yeah, just be aware that when you're perking into perception, you're going to have to get an edge on the other ones. So my likes for the armor sets here is that, yes, it's fun. You don't it kind of reduces the amount of perk points you have to invest into other disciplines early on. That I like. But what I don't like is the tedium and having to constantly swap armor sets. They should be increasing the inventory sizes of the vehicles and the character if they're going to be adding all these armor sets. Because now I have to carry around all this crappy armor. And then also the mod slots. I don't want tedium in my game. I'm not playing a game to be freaking nitpicked and having to nitpick armor all the time. So what I think they need to do is under the character menu here, make the mod slots a part of the character, not the damn armor. If they're going to be doing this armor set stuff. Now, I know they're going to be bringing clothing back eventually, because they're not feature complete. The 70s, let's be honest, isn't 1.0. They just slapped the 1.0 tag on it too. I don't know what they're trying to do. They're trying to sell copies or whatever. But I don't know if it had something to do with the console. They had to be 1.0, I heard, to get it on console. So it's just in name only, which I think is abuse of the nomenclature of revisions, But let's not get into that debate. But anyway, they should have mod slots here for the character, and you know, they just have to code it where you can only have, for example, if I put on assassin armor here and it's a level 1, I have 1 mod slot available. So when you go to the character, it's 1. So sum up, let's say this is a level 5 here, so I have 3 slots available. So have it where on the side of the character, the helmet, or the hood here in this case, has mod slots. And I think you go up to 4 on a legendary. So 4 mod slots. You can drag your mods over for the head. Then they have another one for the body part, the outfit. Then another one for the gloves and another one for the boots. So they have the mod slots over here, or in the they used to have it in the center. And you pull your clothing over and all this, and you swap clothing in and out. But what I don't like is the tedium of having to, like, because when you're playing the game normally, you're not going to have mods, multiple mods by the time you get to a certain point in the game. You're going to be swimming in mods. You're going to be selling them. And then eventually you get to a set of armor, like, I'm just going to go with this set, But when you're swapping armor sets out in the beginning to get the perks, because you're a weak character, it's just a real pain in the butt. Modify. It's just a waste of time. I'd rather be playing the game than fiddling around with mods. So that's my dislike with the armor sets. I really like the concept. I like the idea that they have, but it needs to be refined and less tedium, please. Now let's get into the mods for these. This is for the guns, and we have the 2x, 4x, and 8x scopes. And then we have the reflex sight here. So if you're not going ranged, you're going loud, you're in a POI, you're getting swarmed by zombies. This is kind of nice to have to acquire the target, but I usually don't use these because I like other mods. Now we've got the muzzle brake, which is supposed to reduce recoil. I have not seen any reduction in recoil with a muzzle brake, but apparently there is a reduction with the silencer. It does reduce range and damage, but this is what you want on your sniper rifle when you're going sneaky. Now if you're going loud on horde nights or whatever, or let's say the zombies know you're in a POI, they wake up, they see you, you switch to your loud weapon and just start pumping bullets into them, So I use the muzzle brake for being loud, of course, because you can't have both of these on the gun at the same time. Now I usually use the magazine extenders, but I'm going to start getting away from them because there's other mods that I want to install. Barrel extender, range and aimed accuracy, but makes the weapon more unwieldy fired from the hip. Well, obviously you can use this for your sniper rifle and you're doing the ranged attacks, but I tend to not use these, and I'll show you what my loadout is. Now we've got accuracy when firing from the hip on that one. Then we've got the accuracy and handling when aiming weapons. I really don't, I don't know if there's a calculation when you fire, do you hit or not? Because there's no sway in the game. So I don't know what's the use of that. And then we got these trigger groups. There's the semi-auto, the burst, and then the full auto. I use the full auto when I'm going loud. Now we need the rad mover mod when the zombies start getting green. You want to use this because they regenerate health. Now when it comes to the spear, we got a bunch of things. Now there's this flame burning shaft mod. If you're going loud, yeah, it's fun to use. You cook the zombies. It's nice when you're going, poking through doors. You can get the flame and the bleed on a zombie. But if you're doing sneaky, that's why I put it down there to kind of separate it out. If you're going sneaky, the burning shaft mod is just going to alert the zombies to you. Your sneak goes up. Your detectability goes up. So what I like to use, let's go through these here. This one here is the structural brace mod. Lowers degradation 25%. Kind of a no-brainer. If you have the slots, use it. But in the beginning, the lower tier weapons, you're going to have limited slots. So there's better options. All you're doing is repairing your weapon more. That's all. Now we've got this one here, which is stamina reduction. I like that. The weighted head mod is nice because you can slow victims. Now this one here, I don't really consider this helpful because if your health is below 50%, you gain 1 hit point every 5 seconds. I wish there was more detail on this. I suppose I could look at the files. But if you're that low on health, you're doing it wrong. Don't get if you're getting into situations where your health is dropping that low and you're using a spear, you should be running when you get a couple hits on you. You need to back up and reposition, in my opinion. So the question though is, does it recover health up to 50% of your health and then stop, or does it keep going? But I don't really see the point of this one here because there's other mods. If you're planning your attacks and approaching a situation carefully and planning your plan of attack, you shouldn't need the fortifying grip mod here. Now we have the tempered blade, which it lowers degradation and block damage. This is another one where I'm like, why? What do I need this for? I don't need block damage with a spear. There's other better ways to do block damage, like an axe or a pickaxe, you know. So I don't really understand what these two are. If you're not playing smart, yeah, I don't know why you're banging on blocks here. I mean, the lower degradation is okay, you know, but you have this one. So for 25, I don't know if these stack. They probably do. But here's the one I use. The 10% chance cause to bleed. So coupled with the book for 25%, you've got a 35% chance for bleed. All right, so if I'm wrong on these two, let me know. Is there something I'm missing with these two? Because these two just look, to me, they're useless, you know. But, you know, and I know there's all these different playstyles. That's what I'm interested in. What kind of playstyle would warrant this fortifying grip mod and the tempered blade mod? That's all I'm wondering about. To me, it doesn't fit my playstyle. So to me, it's useless. Okay, so that's done there. We went through the books. Let's go through the perk tree really quick here. I wanted to highlight some things. So Deadeye is your rifle perk, and it covers only the weapons that I have in that case, the 4 weapons. And then we have the Demolition Expert. Like I said, this perk system, I hold off on it until later. In fact, I've done playthroughs under Perception where I don't even bother with Demolition Expert because I'm usually perking into other things, you know, to handle hordes of zombies. Now we got Spearmaster and the Quick and Perceptive here. Those are together. So you've got, we'll have to look at the Perception thing here real quick. Basically, more damage, power attacks, slow enemies, stamina cost reductions. You know, you can read these, you know, obviously as you go. But it just makes your spear more powerful. The Quick and Perception makes you faster with it. Now let's look at the attribute itself here. And all the attributes do this. So for Perception, it's rifles, explosives, spears, and then the tools governed by salvage operations. So when you're wrenching cars, you know, basically, or you got the wrench, you got the impact driver, you know, all that crap. That's what this is governing. It's the damage with those specific items in the discipline here. So of course you've got to, you know, when you level this up, you get a benefit, and it also, you know, obviously helps you level up higher on all these other ones. Now the Penetrator, I think, is probably the best part of the Perception build because you've got these ignore armor, 10%, ignore 10% of armor with firearms and archery, 20% on anything with target armor reduction. Now, if you read up further, you find weak spots in a target's armor with spears, archery, and other specialized ammo. Use AP rifle bullets to shoot through multiple organic targets. So the specialized armor is the AP ammo, right? So now I don't know if high power is affected by that. I think it's just AP because it's armor piercing. But it could be the 7.62 regular and the high power that will penetrate, but the AP ammo is meant to penetrate. And then it goes on down to here. And the one thing that I wanted to point out is, let me go on this thing here. It's not my face. The one thing I want to point out here is on the spear, you have a target armor ignore of 50%. couple that with the penetrator perk and the books, these books down here, and you're able to really mash zombies into paste, which is fun as hell. Now I wanted to demonstrate a kind of a beginning game, kind of a horde base here. Once you get to dogs, it kind of falls off a little bit, but it still will hold you up. So I got these here, bars. I think they're called bars. And I got them on both sides, so if you wanted to, it depends on if you're left-handed or right-handed, right brain, left brain, whatever. So it's a stair base, or a ladder base. So let's go ahead and spawn in some zombs. You'll see how this works here. There they are, some Arlenes. Oh yeah, so I got this gun here. I have two guns. This one is loud, and this one is silenced. Where are you going over there? And I don't have any perks on any of this stuff. Come on. So here, now, the one thing about testing with the zombies, if you spawn them in, they're just gonna mob the base. So it's not a true test of the base, in my opinion, because until they start to kind of disperse a little bit. Now you'll notice that they're going into destroy anything mode a little bit down here. That's because they have to fall from a further distance. I think it's 15 meters. Now you'll notice that they're kind of going back. You see how they're going into destroy anything mode over there. So this base is not meant to be like the best base in the world. It's more of a real life kind of thing. You're going to be taking over a POI maybe to build your first horde base. But it works pretty good. We'll go into this mode here. There's a little bar here. It's a quarter pole. And this is just a regular pole right here. So let's go over here. And we'll showcase this stuff here. You can stand back here and just kind of pop them with your spear. Before they fall down, that is. And then you've got your rifle, which you can stand right here. And just kind of line up. Bam. So when you get, your rifle stronger, you can just sit here and pop them off. So they're coming right to you. Now, when you get into explosives, that's why I've got this kind of deeper. You can just sit here and you got to back up. And you got to get the, the timing right, but throw that sucker. And you can just blow them up from here. Now, there is block damage with these, a little bit, not a lot. So what I like to do is just kind of stand back here, pull the pin, and just aim and throw. So if they start to build up a little bit, come out here, start contact grenading them. And this is why I like the contact grenades, is because they blow up on impact, which is really nice. So if you get dogs, just go ahead and start throwing some bombs down on them from over here. Now the Molotovs are really nice too, but you got to be careful with them. Just give it a throw and just cook the zombies from here. You can also throw them from here, like so. Cook them up. That's why I like this ladder base, because it kind of concentrates the zombies all the way up and over. So you've got this long kind of thing here, with the pole, and it's good for your rifle, and it's also good because it lines them up with the spear too, so you can just jab them, and then they push each other off. Now, like I said, you have to be, I think, 15 meters high. So this is, I think, 10. So you got to be up 5 more blocks, and when they drop, they won't go into destroy anything mode. And that's why down here, with my few tests, you'll see that they're kind of breaking this out a little bit. But the chances are this big monstrous tank thing isn't going to be going anywhere. They have an access point here if they really wanted to get in. Now, there is some prep with this particular POI. You have to break out some ladders and stuff. I was having a little fun just kind of building up a little bit. I wasn't planning on building any higher, but I was trying to figure out what the blocks were so I could replicate them on that. Now, this particular block right here, they're the same block, just a variation of this block here. So let's go on over here and I'll showcase that. This one is the variable shape helper. What is this thing here? Wait. Oh, yeah, steel. I just use steel for the hell of it. And obviously, you're going to be using cobblestone in the beginning. So this is a pull side centered T. Let's go ahead and pull that down. And you'll see that this is what it is. Now, you can spear and shoot through this. Whereas if you use the bars, you won't be able to throw the Molotovs and the Throwables through it. Now, this is the corner piece right here. So we press and hold R, and we copy shape and rotation. And then what I can do is hit Tab, and then we can mouse over it, and you'll see this is a pull three-way corner. So that's how I get the corner piece here. And then you just put the blocks on top. So, and then for bird defense, I've got the spikes up here, just in case the birds come flying down. Now on day 7, chances are you won't get birds if you're if you're playing on anything but normal settings, you know, all bets are off. If you're changing the settings, like to higher difficulties, more zombies, you know, 300% experience gain, all bets are off when you start changing those, right? So just be mindful of that this is, you know, and I played on Warrior with this particular base here, and it works pretty good. So just be mindful of that. Okay, so let's go into the loadout of the sniper rifle here before I forget. I just have these rifles here for the hell of it. These are the tier 6s. So this is the sniper rifle, and we'll modify it. So I've got an 8x scope, silencer, the bipod, and it's supposed to increase accuracy and handling when aiming weapons, which I do not really understand because there is no sway in the game. So what is this doing for me? I don't know. And then of course the rad remover mod. Now, if you don't have radiateds if you get to this point, if you have a sniper rifle, you're pretty much going to have radiated. So you're going to have that rad remover. What I'm going to do is I'm going to max out perception here, and we'll go, I don't worry, let's see, quick and perceptive. I want to get the loading. Oh, here, Deadeye. There we go. So if I shoot, it's quick now. There we go. So now we got the perks. So let's aim at the O here, and you'll see the recoil on this thing. Look at that recoil. Holy cripes. It's popping it up so high. Now with a sniper rifle suppressed, you're not really worried too much about recoil because, I don't know why there's got to be another perk that reduces recoil that I'm missing here, if anybody knows, because there's got to be something in here, because I don't remember having this bad of a recoil on the gun. So there's got to be something in here that I'm missing. I don't know, but yeah, that recoil is pretty bad. Now, when I did a Horde Night base, and I constantly have to keep pulling my gun down, you know. Now, this is the loadout for going loud. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So we have this one, which is supposed to reduce recoil. I don't think it works. And I'll showcase it. And then I've got the bipod mod, which is handling when aiming, accuracy, and all that. I've got the full auto mod on here because if you're going loud, you might as well start pumping bullets into zombies. And then rad remover for the late game. You can switch this out with anything you want. And also there's this reflex sight mod here, but I'm going with this particular load here because I want the semi-auto and these two, the reduction in recoil. So let's take a look at the O, and we'll pop up. Oh, I gotta reload it because I modded it. All right, so there's the O. And you can see that the recoil is a little better, but it's not great. It's still popping up. So, yeah, go figure. This is where I am, and that's where I started. So, the semi-auto this is how it operates. There we go. So, that's what the semi-auto thing is here. So when you go modify, you hear that bloop. It unloaded your weapon. I really don't like that. I wish that they didn't unload your weapon. Now, if I pull mods out, then unload the damn weapon. But don't do it because I'm just trying to look at the loadout here. So now I got to reload every time. So the, what is it? Oh yeah, this full auto mod here. This is the one I'm using. Now you could swap this out and put this one in, but the issue is now you still have auto mode. You can press and hold mouse, and it's slow. See how slow it is? So that full auto is faster rate of fire there, clearly. Now this is okay because if you got a line of zombies coming down, you can easily acquire it and pop them in the head. So it does allow for easy aim, but so it's a matter of choice. Do you want the full auto to be able to spray the bullets, or do you want to be able to acquire your target like in a cool, you know, easy to aim situation like this, where you're funneling the zombies to you? So there's some things to think about. So anyway, what are your thoughts, guys? I'm curious about it because, especially about the recoil and anything else I've said here, is the recoil seems to be reduced. The sniper rifle, man, that one just really popped. It's like, whoa. So I think this weapon is pretty good for funneling the zombies, obviously. But when you're, you know, when you're on a rooftop and there's that helipad, you know, the landing pad for the helicopter, you're going to be in sneak mode and you're going to be popping them zombies. So you're not really concerned about recoil as much because you can reacquire the target very easily. All you do is go boop. Oh, and by the way, if you zoom in and out, you do have a zoom feature with the middle mouse wheel on PC. I don't know what it is for the console players there. So yeah, look at that. Freaking, man, that is far. Boom. That's a lot of recoil. So there you go. That's my kind of my take on perception. And, you know, just speaking in terms of the perception tree only, because obviously we're going to be getting into other skill trees as you go. You want to get better mining, so you're in strength. You want to, the machine gunner maybe to have a faster rate of fire weapon. So you might throw some points in the machine gunner, better barter, things like that. But if you were going straight perception in this game, you're going to have a hard time, you know, in my opinion. That's why I think they need to add a skill section and pull some things out so that you can perk into any weapon you want and you can role play as a perception character with specific perks, more specific perks. And they really need to benchmark Fallout New Vegas in order to achieve that. But, you know, benchmarking is fine. These games are out there, time-tested and true. There's all these little things you can improve on because we already see how they are, but they could improve on it. Now, are they going to do it? No, because they're 1.0. They're trying to get the game done eventually, you know, because they still have a roadmap. But let's not go there. So I hope you enjoyed my little analysis on the perception build. I do want to do the other ones, so it depends on how well this video does here. So let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.